Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Alfonso, and today I will be taking you over the analysis that I did for our class. Um, so I'll start it off with the name of my analysis. It's called the Real Estate Loans Approval Rejection Analysis by Alfonso Villalobos. Um, this analysis covers everything from loan approvals, loans that were approved or they were never funded, types of approvals, the type of businesses, industries, and all sort of very exciting things that I'm gonna just get into. So, why did I choose this specific data set? Well, I chose this specific data set because it all started with a business problem, right? At Dorsco Capital Group, where I'm currently working, I'm a business development manager and I need to bring leads. I'm basically in charge of bringing leads, closing them, and listen, I just graduated, so I'm not really sure how to do all of that. But doesn't mean I can't figure it out. So I decided to use my skills as a data scientist to pinpoint exactly who needs our services, right? Um, Through research, I was able to, well, first I had to define the business problem, which is who needs a loan? Who is who is who meets the qualifications to get a loan and needs it? Um, Through that business problem and the business understanding, I was able to research and find exactly the data set that I need to do an analysis. And I came up to this data set from the SBA loan, right, from a government agency that gives loans. Um, and I told, well, I think this is it. I think this could give me the insights after reviewing the dictionary of it and kind of like just glancing over at it, using AI to kind of explain to me what was it about and how it can help my business problem. I decided, hey, I think this might be it. And so I look how many entries there were, and it was 110,000, which was more than enough for a good analysis. So, secondly, what properties of the data set made it a good candidate for analysis? Well, I kind of just went over it, right? I mean, it matched the business problem. It had over 110,000 entries. It was CSV format. It had many columns that were all relevant to my analysis, like the borrower city, the location ID, the borrower name, which are all very important things that I will later on need and discover many insights that will be relevant for the type of problem that I'm trying to solve. Now, I'll explain a little bit about the data set and the key features, right? Like the source and the relevance, which I kind of mentioned during the introduction. So the key features of these data sets are the loan status, the business type, the business age, the borrower name, the NCIS code, which is basically just the industry ID, the location ID, the county, the gross charge amount, the amount like the sorry the gross loan amount, which is how much money did they give you. Um, it also gives the how many jobs supported, which later on I'll explain why all this is important because I did some feature engineering, which I'm really excited to talk about later. So yeah, so those kind of were like the key features. The source was the SBA data set, the US Small Business Administration, which is a very reputable source. And the relevance is because I mean it goes straight to what I'm looking for. Who needs a loan? Who needs a loan? I don't want to just talk to anybody. If I'm gonna be cold calling and doing emails, I want to make sure that I'm doing it to people who actually want my product. Um, and this is where I'm going with the key findings. All right. Through my analysis, I was able to find out industries that were approved for the loan, yet they would never receive the money. Their status was not funded. They were approved, and I'm talking about millions of dollars, like $5 million, $3 million, $1 million. I mean, I have 40,000 entries of businesses that just didn't get money. They wanted money, they didn't get it. And that's where I come in as a business developer to reach out and say, hey, listen, I saw you were approved. So that means you meet some qualifications, yet you never received the money. So you need it. You never received it. So that's huge for me. I found a gold mine of industries, and I found a bunch of and their names, where they're located, how much did they receive, when were they approved. All of these things are just insane findings and just a huge gold mine. So to take actionable steps to make money, okay, to bring value to Dorsal Capital. Another thing another key finding um, that I did, I found out honestly the correlation, but there wasn't that much correlation. Honestly, this was the biggest key finding: the amount of companies that needed money and that didn't receive it, and how I can help them. So the surprising trends or patterns that emerge, um, honestly, I went a little bit about the patterns. Um, I did a take paragraphs and a subplot, and kind of show me that the kind of like the average amount of approval, compared to the number of not funded loans. A lot of times they were approved more than the amount of the approval, was more than the actually companies that wanted, um, that didn't get funded. That was one that was very simple. But honestly, I mainly concentrated on the ones that weren't the key the companies that got approved, but they never got any money. So how did I utilize AI to help me for my analysis? Well, honestly, like just back and forth talking, like if it was a teacher, right? I shared everything from screenshots to ideas, to coding examples. I have a bunch of notes from using Notion, and I copied the notes from the data analysis, from how to extract, wrangling, processing, EDA, to model visualization, to modeling, to visualization, correlations, relationships. I make sure I put all the notes that I've been taking throughout the whole semester on there to make sure and kind of like understand how do they work and how do they apply them for a specific example like this one. I thought it was very insightful. I mean, if it wasn't for AI, I'll still be working on it, to be honest. It gave me a lot of great ideas, and it helped me, um, for feature engineering. So when I was creating my model, right, the first model that I created, it had it had a R square value of 0.00059, which is terrible, and like 7 trillion mean square error. It was terrible, right? Um, through some fitting, um, and training, and using chat to help me kind of like achieve my goal. I'll tell them, hey, my goal is this. How do we get there? I want an R square above 50%. How do I get there? Because I was trying to do it, and hey, I was just getting to 16%, and that wasn't explaining much, right? I got to 21%, and I was like, you know what? Let's do some feature engineering, right? What kind of feature engineering can we do to achieve an R squared value of over 50%? What other variables can we use? Right now, so at that moment, I was trying to predict the amount of money that a company will get approved for, right? Because that's what a company wants to know. Like, hey, listen, I need X amount, but how much do I really get approved based on my characteristics? So that's what I focused on, and doing a grid search, and actually no, actually started with the feature engineering. So the new features that I created using AI were the approval per job, like how many companies were approved, by the amount of jobs they created or the amount of jobs that they supported. What was the loan density? So how much money were they approved for, um, in months, in the amount of like months that they were up for the term. Is it a startup, right? So like the business age, mine like the businesses that were under 2 years old, and the jobs per month. So like the job supported, divided by the term in months. And then I put all of that on a not funded data frame, because I just wanted to know like the the companies that didn't get funded. Why? That was my main focus. So then I introduced some features like the business age, term and months, collateral ID, and I encoded them. So all the values that had the qualitative, I turned them into numbers. Well, I use AI to help me turn them into numbers. So for example, the collateral, yes or no, it was a one and zero. So I could integrate it into the machine learning model and make it more accurate. The jobs per month and the NICS sector encoded to is like a 6-digit number, but the first two numbers are the ones that are pretty key. So I only kept the first two numbers. And those are just kind of examples that I used to make sure that the model was able to be trained more efficiently. So after that, I was able to I fit a linear regression, and I got an R squared value of 98. 98 and a mean square value or a mean square error of 143,000, which I couldn't believe it. I thought it was overfitting, and then I ran a cross validation score with five cross validation score, um and the cross validated R square score were of 97%. So it wasn't overfitting. So this model was able to predict pretty accurately what was going to happen. I mean, the mean R squared was 97%. So you can imagine. After some visualization, I realized that the line fit perfectly. And now I'm creating an app for it to determine, to help businesses that want to know how much they can get approved for. So I'm in the process of building that. There's some features that I want to go back again and make sure that are good because, coming back, I realized that this is just for the not funded. And I kind of want to know, like in the data set as a whole, funded or not. Um, so yeah, I think that kind of answers all the questions. Um, and and yeah, honestly, AI helped me so much. I mean, it took me 2 days, something that will take somebody back in the day a month to do. Um, and I want to do more of these projects to help me understand exactly how data science works as a whole and how much value I can bring to not only Dorsco Capital, but the future employers who hire me.